Maybe you don't need to try harder. Maybe that's the lie that we've all been sold. From a young age, we are taught that if something isn't working, the solution is always more effort, more force, and more pressure. And effort is important. Discipline matters. Consistency and showing up matters. Nothing meaningful ever happens without effort. But if you really pause and look at your own life, when has forcing something, really forcing something, ever actually worked? How often does really forcing something ever work out for you? How often that effort that comes from tension and force and stress and self-judgment, honestly, truly moved things forward in a sustainable way? Think about the times you were chasing a goal, a dream, a vision, a version of yourself that you so desperately wanted to become. And instead of things clicking into place, everything felt heavy. You felt this large weight on your shoulders. Maybe you felt stuck. Maybe you felt like progress was slowing down. And then that's when the self-judgment kicks in. You tell yourself that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're not valuable enough for it. Maybe you tell yourself, what's wrong with me? Why am I not there yet? You start comparing yourself to others. You start telling yourself, why does this feel so hard? Maybe it's just not worth it. Maybe it's just not for me. From there, you start rushing. You act frantically, forcing things to happen. You try to control outcomes. And the harder you push, the more resistance you feel, until you're frustrated and exhausted and feel so disconnected from a dream or a vision or a goal that you once felt incredibly passionate about. Disconnected from yourself at the end of the day as well. That's the cycle. And that's the cycle that so many people fall victim to. What if the way out of that cycle wasn't giving up and saying, you know what, maybe this isn't for me? What if the cycle was just about surrender? Surrender doesn't mean that you are giving up or you stop caring. It doesn't mean that you abandon your goals or you lower your standards. It simply means you stop fighting reality. You acknowledge honestly and compassionately that this is where I am right now. I might not yet be exactly where I want to be. I may have a goal or a dream, and it may feel far off in the distance, but this is where I am right now. It's not where I plan to stay, but it's where I am. It's where my feet are. And instead of judging the place that I'm currently at, which is only going to create more resistance and only going to make me feel like I have to force myself out of it, instead of resenting it, you yield to it. Stop opposing the flow of life and you start working with it. You start moving with it. From that place of acceptance, your actions feel lighter. They feel more intentional. They feel clearer. You're no longer acting from a place of fear and control. You're no longer acting from a place of anger or frustration. You're acting from alignment. And if you think about this concept, it connects deeply with how we choose to see the future, how we choose to relate with the future. So often when we have a goal or a dream or a vision, something that really matters to us, it's really meaningful to us, we constantly visualize it. We see ourselves living in X destination or with X person every single day, multiple times a day. We imagine what it would be like to have the things that we want. That practice is amazing. I visualize all the time, but it's just important to note that the more often we do this, the more we kind of pluck ourselves out of the present moment. The more we naturally live in the future, subtly, the more unconsciously we reject the present moment. Just continuously pluck ourselves out of the now, telling ourselves, again, without realizing it, that this moment isn't good enough. Maybe we can't feel peace or fulfillment or satisfaction until we get there. And by doing this, we create resistance. We judge the present moment and we create resistance. You're here physically, but mentally you're elsewhere. You're waiting for life to start. The truth is, the only thing that we have is the present moment. So you're literally creating resistance with life itself. This is what can happen if you do not anchor yourself in the present moment. When you learn to care for the present moment and you build a good relationship with the present moment, you respect it, you remain anchored in it. This isn't to say that you shouldn't dream. This isn't to say that you shouldn't have big goals. It's just about visualizing that goal, seeing yourself achieve X thing or get to X destination, having all the things that you want to have, visualizing it, seeing it, feeling it, while also remembering to anchor yourself in the present moment as well. That way you don't resist the now and judge the now and start telling yourself that life is only going to start when I get there. I can't feel happy or fulfilled or at peace now because I don't have the things that I want. I'm only going to feel those things once I get to my goal. This isn't what we want. When you learn to care for the present moment, when you learn to anchor yourself in the present moment, when you learn to honor the present moment, that is when you realize that fulfillment is here right now, satisfaction is here right now, and I get to enjoy the present moment, and I get to actually find meaning and significance in the step that I'm currently taking right now to get me to my goals, that help me get to my goals. Start to enjoy the steps that you are currently taking and find meaning in the steps that you are currently taking rather than resenting them. And ironically, that is when things actually move faster. That is when you get to the places that you want to get to in a more effective way, in a more aligned way, because you're not forcing things anymore. You're allowing things to flow naturally through surrender and acceptance, through presence. That's when the right actions just reveal themselves. You'll gain the clarity that you're looking for, creating space for the answers to come to you. You're not forcing them. You stop resisting where you are, you move forward with ease, with clarity, with alignment. When you stop judging the present moment, you stop fighting yourself, you stop fighting reality. That is when you will start to feel things flow with you, not against you. You won't have to force anything. So remember, it's always fantastic to dream and have big goals and see yourself achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. Just remember that when you do that, you're plucking yourself out of the now. And if you do not anchor yourself in the present moment as well, subtly you may create some judgment or see the present moment as an obstacle. It's just a means to an end. And that's where resistance starts to come up. And that's when you start to feel like you have to force things just so you can arrive somewhere in your future. Anchor yourself in the now. Honor the now. Honor the present moment. That is when you will feel more flow and more ease just naturally. You won't feel like you're in a rush to get anywhere because you're good as you are and you know that you're good as you are. You're here, accept that you're here. What's in front of you is what's in front of you. You're just going to take things one step at a time, trusting and having faith that you will figure it out. You will get to the places that you want to get to, but you're not going to get there in an effective way if you force things, because you're only going to be met with more resistance when you don't have a good relationship with the present moment and treat the present moment as just a means to an end. So that's all I really wanted to get across in this recording. I genuinely hope that you get some value from listening to this. I hope you're having an incredible day wherever you listen to these recordings. I value and appreciate every single person who listens. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. And if you really enjoyed this recording, leaving a positive review on the podcast on Spotify or Apple would mean a lot. And you can also go to presenceofbeing.co and grab a Presence of Being hat and support what we're building here. All the recordings that I make, whether you see my content on TikTok or Instagram, which you can find in the description of this video, the podcast that I make, these videos on YouTube, like I'm just talking from the heart and I don't have all the answers. I'm just figuring all of this out. And I'm just sharing, again, things that I'm learning along the way. Hopefully some of these videos or these videos just generally provide some sort of value to you. That's the goal. Maybe they inspire you in some way. They shift your perspective in some positive way. That's my intention. So again, hopefully you got some value from this. And if you have any recommendations for the things that you want me to talk about in future recordings, my DMs are always open. And yeah, that's it. Thank you again for listening, and I will see you in the next recording very soon.